I've heard that if you launch too many products in your store at the same time, like 25 all at once, it's not good for the store. Is that true?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know why that would be true. I don't think Etsy's going to penalize you because you launched 25 products. I think if anything, they're like, cool, awesome. If we're talking about, okay, can you get more benefit out of launching them over maybe a week, let's say? Yes, I agree with that because now Etsy's also looking at the activity inside of your account that you as the owner are putting into it. I do think that Etsy looks and sees activity that's happening in the account. My wife kind of took a little bit of some time off, right? She, we were doing beach volleyball with my daughter and we were busy and we're traveling and everything. And she just kind of like let it kind of coast, like let it sit. Didn't put any new products in it for probably 6 to 8 weeks. And then just recently started adding new products in because we're gearing up for Q4. And then all of a sudden she starts getting some orders on her older stuff. Why is that? It's probably because there was activity and now all of a sudden Etsy noticed and started giving us a little bit more reach and a little bit more, traffic. So I do think there is something to being active, and being active, I mean, putting new products in your store. If you're just brand new, I wouldn't wait to drip because you're going to be adding more. I would dump the 25 in there and say, okay, let's get another 10 and let's go ahead and maybe do 2 or 3 a day. Right. And then that way there, you're keeping active, but I'd want to put a bunch of products in there to kind of build out the store in the beginning. And then I might drip them. So if I have 25 ready, I might just launch 5 of them a day for a week or something. But if it's closer, if we're getting closer to Q4 and we're getting closer to that Halloween deadline or whatever holiday it is, I'm going to go ahead and just put them in there as quick as possible because the minute that they go in there, they start getting indexed. So maybe that's what they were talking about. Don't know. I don't know who the advice came from, but I don't agree with that. If I launch 25 products all at once, it's bad for my shop. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's objectively bad for the shop. I think the people who would be most likely to do this would be new stores, and so it may feel like it's bad because you don't have a sales history and you're waiting for Etsy to give you the chance to sell those products. So you go, that must be I launched 25 products. That must be the reason. I would say I agree 100% with you, Scott. The more consistent we can be with this, the better off we are going to be. There's a couple reasons for that. One, it shows that consistent activity. Two, if we're trying to launch 25 products a day, it probably means that we're not spending the time to create great designs. It probably also means that we're not spending the time to do the keyword research or the sales history research or any of the other research that should go into creating a optimized listing. And that could be the reason. That's much more likely the reason than Etsy saying, whoa, you launched more than one product today. We're going to put you in the timeout chair. No, that's not likely the reason. And so should you do that all day, every day? Probably not, because you're going to have lower quality designs, lower quality listings, all of those kinds. Unless you have this massive team, you're much better off launching one product a day over those 25 days than working all month long and then just saying, on the 31st of this month, I'm going to launch all 31 new things. You're much better off launching them along the way because it allows you to make sure that all of those things are done consistently with quality. You're showing Etsy those consistent things, and they're starting to get some of that data back on the listings you launched on the first of the month. And if you guys haven't checked it out yet, there's a video on the YouTube channel about what happened when Scott's wife launched 30 products in 30 days. We called it the Product Blitz. Very interesting data behind that. So if you have the time and you want to launch 30 products for Halloween, absolutely go ahead and create all of those products. But if you can drip it out, awesome. If you have to launch them all on the same day, that should be okay too. There's no real reason why that wouldn't work. It's just the more consistent you can be, you're sending all of the other good signals as well. And so that would be the approach that I would prefer to see you take. Also, right, if we're waiting to launch all 25, 30, 31 of those products all at once, we're losing out on the other 30 days of the month where we could start to be getting indexed for the first 29 products by launching it all on day 30 of the month. So we're losing out on precious time, right? Every single minute that we can be indexed on Etsy, we're collecting data. And the more data we can collect, the better off we're going to be. So the sooner we can launch those things, the better off we are going to be.